giving you 5 principles of media disruption. Well, before we start, I think we need to understand what are those 5 principles. Oxford English Dictionary says disturbance or problems that interrupt an event, activity, or process. And a principle, because I was standing at the back and I was thinking, I'm not sure these are principles, what you've seen in previous presentations, but it's the foundation for a system of belief or behavior. And that's important for a change of reasoning. That's what Oxford English Dictionary says. And keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. The landscape that we all operate in is fundamentally different now to the way it was. We have weapons of mass disruption. That's what media have become. It clutters our lives, but it informs our lives. And we need to be aware of the contribution that appropriate media can have. So let's get into it. Why do we need, and why is there a need for disruption? There are a couple of reasons. People have changed. We might not have, but people have changed. Multitasking is now the norm. It's always been amongst women, would you agree? Girls, you multitask. But multitasking is the norm. We've also got increasingly fluid interface between multiple screens. We know today that the most critical component to successful campaigns is synergy. Not TV or radio or print. It's the combination of multiple platforms. It accounts for about 40% of the success of a campaign is synergy. We're moving to more accessible messaging today than ever before. Wherever you are, you can be reached. Is there anyone here in the room who doesn't have a cell phone within a meter of their body? No. We're seeing declining traditional message noting levels. And that's true in your markets. It's not just true in South Africa, Europe, Americas. It's true in your own markets. We're flooded with messaging, and traditional media are becoming less effective than ever before. People want solutions, not products. That's the reality. You don't want a product, you want something that'll fix something, improve your life in some way. Demography, male, female, 16 to 24. Those sort of definitions no longer matter, frankly. You can get 10 people in the room with the same demographic profile. One will buy a Mercedes-Benz or want to buy a Mercedes-Benz. One will want to buy an Audi. One will want to buy a BMW because they are different. We need to understand more than just demography. There is a fundamental need by all people today for reward. And I'm not talking about financial reward. It's, if I pay you attention, give me something. And that's important. And you'll see it in your own lives. If I look at a billboard, it should tell me the time. I should be able to gauge where am I on my route to work. There has to be a benefit. There's a growing we want it now expectation. And this sums it up really well.
We want this and that. We demand a share in that and most of that, some of this and fucking all of that. Less of that and more of this and fucking plenty of this. And another thing, we want it now. I want it yesterday. I want fucking more tomorrow. And the demands will all be changed then, so fucking stay awake.
Does that sound like some of your clients? It's funny, but it's true. Okay. The channels are changing. We're now in a situation where everywhere you go has become a media touch point. Everywhere you go. I know it sounds like an MTN slogan, but it's true. Media owners have changed. There's an explosion of media opportunities today. It really is. And there's a very low cost of entry. And it's because of technology. both new technology and converging technologies like print and online, digital, working together in synergy, as well as growing client demands for out-of-the-box thinking. I'm sure you've all heard your clients saying, I want out-of-the-box thinking. Do they buy it? Not always, very rarely. We know this. And there's also greed amongst media owners. They'll sell you the kitchen sink, but it may not add value to your campaign. That's the reality. From a media agency point of view, we're drowning in data. We have so much data, but data doesn't help you make good decisions. We have aggressive media owners who are focused on selling at all costs. They go direct to our clients. They'll say whatever they think they need to say in order to make the deal. There's increasing illusion of media performance at the expense of the value of the interaction. Now, this is where creative and media need to work closely. If the media team are identifying contact points where there's engagement, the message has to match. Creative people won't know those moments, those magic moments, unless the media people are telling them. It's very important. We have time-shifted development of client solutions. What do I mean by that? It means the creative agency will be briefed to do something. The digital agency will be briefed to do something a month later. And the media agency will be told a week before the presentation. And the creative don't know what the digital guys are doing, and the media doesn't know what the digital or the creative guys are doing. So we all end up with different strategies, different interpretations. It's like me starting on this side of the room and telling you something and saying, pass it on. By the time it reaches the other side of the room, it's completely different. And the reason for that is because we're all protecting our turf. We don't need to, frankly. Simply now is the time that we need and must move away from interruption and embrace disruption if we're to remain relevant and client return on investment. We need to embrace it. And I know this entire company, this building, is built on interruption. We need disruption, but not chaos. We need to challenge the way we work so we can work closer together. And that really, this is a snapshot. It speaks for itself. Technology and data is changing. You've got customers and they're becoming increasingly diversified. We've got shifts in the consumer mindset. We've got the difficulty of innovation. We all talk innovation, but it's hard. It's hard. And that's leading to disruption of the classic model. And no amount of effort by people like myself with gray hair can hold on to the past. We need to embrace the future. And that's embracing disruption. Being happy with it, being content to live in disruption. So let's have a look at some fundamental media truths. Digital is the air we breathe. It's as simple as that. In all areas of life, today, digital is everything. In South Africa, July 2016, all television, all radio broadcasts will be digital. It will be the golden thread that will go through all media. It will empower them. And we need to be comfortable with that, not boggled by technology and the complexity of it. You must remember, when you go home in the evening, you're a consumer. Trust your own instincts. You're trained professionals. Sometimes there isn't data, so trust your own instincts. So digital is the air we breathe. It divides and brings together opportunities to deliver crafted messages in real time. We no longer have the need to have a one-size-fits-all message that is appropriate at 6 in the morning and 11 at night. We don't need that. And that's, again, why media and creative need to work together. It's critically important. We've seen the battle of the screens, and I'm going to take a little bit of time and just talk through this. We've got the tablet, the mobile phone, the PC, the gaming console, and the old television. The purpose have changed. Why we look at it has changed and evolved, and you'll see that all of those components, those screens, they work together. They're not competing, they're complementary. And we need to put campaigns together with messaging that's complementary. Technology erodes the boundaries between traditional above-the-line platforms. You will find digital people who will stand up and they'll say, traditional media is dead. They're lying. It's not dead. They'll say, print is dead. I say, the written word is not dead. The written word has captured every single major milestone of humanity since day one. We wrote on tablets, stone tablets. We've written with paper and ink. We've written on cave walls. Now we're writing on tablets, digitally. The written word survives. It's just the way it's delivered will change. Radio stations don't just broadcast. You'll see it in your own markets with Kiss FM and the like. They're not just radio stations anymore, they're brands. Television stations becoming niche engagement platforms with return path opportunities. Print will coexist with digital offerings and become complementary rather than competitive. I'm going to show you an example here of a case study which I really liked, and it's how digital bridges the gap in India, and it was a really nice
इधर 6-7 घंटा बिजली कट जाती है, टीवी नहीं देख पाते हैं।
रेडियो का है तो ट्यूनिंग ठीक से नहीं मिल पाता है किसी को, फ्रीक्वेंसी उसके ठीक से नहीं चल पाती।
हमारे गांव में तो 85% लोग पास मोबाइल है।
मोबाइल में मैं सॉन्ग सुनना पसंद करती हूँ।
मोबाइल में मैं गेम खेलता हूँ, उससे गाना सुनता हूँ, वीडियोस देखता हूँ।
ज़्यादा टीवी और रेडियो से इंटरेस्टिंग आजकल लोग मोबाइल को लिया है।
मोबाइल पर कॉल आ रहा था, कान खजूरा वाला जो गाना जो बोलता है वही गाना के बारे में बता रहा था।
कान खजूरा का गाना बजा, उसके बाद बोल रहा था कि कुछ भी बटन दबा दो गाना आ जाएगा।
ये जगह जगह पे बैनर वगैरह लगे हुए हैं। इसके मिस कॉल करने के लिए कि गाना सुना देता है, कुछ डिटेल बताए।
अरे मिस कॉल लगाओ, मुफ्त मनोरंजन पाओ।
जो नया फिल्म आ रहा है उसके सॉन्ग सुने, बॉस फिल्म का है।
चुटकुले भी आ रहा था उसमें।
अगर अपने हस्बैंड की जिंदगी चाहते हो तो $1800 दो, वरना उसके 30,000 टुकड़े करके 1 2 3 यानी अंग्रेजी में 1 2 3 कर देंगे।
इसमें बहुत सारे एडवर्टाइजिंग आते हैं, लाइव बॉय, लक्स, फिर क्लोजअप वगैरह।
इस महंगाई के जमाने में व्हील वॉशिंग पाउडर हो गया और भी किफायती। आधा किलो 22 नहीं, सिर्फ 20 रुपए में, समझे?
बोल रहा था कि लक्स साबुन से उसमें सोने का सिक्का मिलता है।
उसके बाद था पॉन्ड्स वाइट ब्यूटी का छोटा पैक 10 रुपए में आ रहा है।
मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक रेवोल्यूशन, एक
मैंने एक दिन में 4-5 बार कॉल किया है।
कान खजूरा स्टेशन ये अपने आप में ही बॉस है।
That's creation of a brand new channel in a landscape, media landscape, which is devoid of traditional media for a variety of reasons. That could not have been created without the combined contribution of creative and media. The problem was a media problem. Unilever, who sponsored this, said, hang on, let's use our mobile phones. And within that 15 minutes of free entertainment, there were 2 commercials. Wow, clever. Own your own media. Content defines the relationship as the path to purchase changes. We're spoilt for choice. And because of that, if the content doesn't resonate with the consumer, there's no engagement. None whatsoever. We're moving from a linear to always-on market. We've got technology which is accelerating this. Fragmentation. July next year, we're going to go to digital television, digital radio. We're going to have generations in 5 or 6 different languages. We're going to have regional breakdown opportunities. Opportunities are going to explode. Experience. The consumption of a message is not crafted by both parties with mutual benefits. You engage, you make the process stronger, and you'll see an example a little later on that. Authenticity is no longer nice to have. People are authenticity detectors. They're bullshit detectors. That's what they really are. How many of you have got kids? Quick show of hands. Okay, I've got 50 back at the office. Kids pick up bullshit very quickly, don't they? They don't believe it. We need to appreciate that and respect that. To win an audience over is to give them a reason to care, a reason to believe. And you have to be passionate. You have to care about it. We need to become an audience and a media specialist. And to do that, we need to give them something to do. I saw some of the ads that were being shown earlier. There was a very subtle invitation to participate in the commercial. And that's important. Whether it's feeling emotionally connected, there was an invitation to connect. You've all seen these classic charts where the path to purchase has changed from discover to consider, evaluate, purchase, and now use. It's more dynamic. People are dipping in all the time. We're moving from experiences to reality, from promise to delivery. It's all changing. It's very fluid. I'm going to introduce Shireen to come and take you through 3 slides of a case study which Fuse, which is our branded content division, has prepared. And I'll give you a sense of how we build branded content and the sort of results we have. Shireen. Button on the right.
The button on the right. Thank you. Just tapping on to what Gordon said, I'm going to take you through 2 sort of case studies that we did for Standard Bank. It was built over a 2-year period. One, because I find that explaining branded content to anyone or everyone is a bit of an education. For instance, the misperception of branded content, it's not an AFP, it's not product placement, and it's not a sponsorship. What branded content really is trying to close the gap between your offline channels and your online channels. So how do you close? It's not a digital content strategy, and it's not a media strategy. And I know, I mean, a lot of the time when I read about people becoming publishers of their own content, this is where you are helping your client become the publisher of their own content by closing that gap in between those two platforms. Just taking back on this case study here, the bank wanted to position a product called Access Banking, and we were targeting people in the lower end of the market, earning from 4,000 to 7,000. And what we did purposefully was we needed to build our GRPs. So we didn't go for the big generations in South Africa who has got the biggest ratings. What we did was we tried to build new customers and at the same time we wanted to bring our messages into where our market was sitting and where the highest penetration was. So in essence, we created a halo strategy. We had 3 different television soapies where we created integration. Integration can be defined in 3 ways, where you have active, passive, and storyline integration. And then we created a radio drama, which was a 5-minute radio drama that supported the television. And with that, and this is where it becomes a little bit more innovative, is we created took all those characters, those actors and their studios and the drama actors, and we created a mobile drama. And our responses have been phenomenal in this campaign. I mean, just in the lower end of the market, as marketers in South Africa, our perception is that this market is afraid of using bandwidth. But if your content is strong enough and the journey of working in a collaborative way, you'd find that a 3-minute or a 5-minute drama that attracts your audience, for them to go in and download it and for them to want to engage with it, it says that you're doing something on the right, that you're on the right path. For instance, in this campaign, you can see we're averaging 54,000 downloads. These are between 3-minute and 5-minute content that we've developed in association with the broadcasters and their actors. On average, our radio drama response mechanism here, we reached 1 million last year, which means that we've made history in South Africa, and our content views on the bank's social side has averaged more than 500,000. What that says is there's interest shown. Brand opinion has grown by 400%. So when you're doing branded content, you can't measure it just on the GRPs. You've got to measure it on the effectiveness, and what branded content does is it delivers effective engagement. No longer is the client defined on just GRPs. Yes, I've reached so many GRPs and my reach was so broad. And like Gordon was saying, the market is becoming more fragmented. So when you're measuring branded content, it needs to be defined on 4 pillars. I always say, did they see my message? Did they understand it? Did they engage with it? And did I create a need? And for us, I think we've achieved that in those 4 pillars in this campaign. Just on SnapScan. Yeah. So we did, because we needed to ensure that we were aligned in terms of messaging, and then also from a broadcasting perspective, we worked with all partner agencies because we were working off the digital agency platforms. So we had to create the collaboration. It was pioneered through ourselves, the media agency, client, and then the creative agencies that helped in terms of guiding, providing the guidance. Another one here is, this is a magazine lifestyle. It was skewed more toward the upper end. And again, here we needed to, and remember, branded content, like I said, it's not about always about positioning. Branded content is trying to tell a story where you're looking at trying to tell the client's business issue story. So here were 4 pillars that we needed to, or 3 business issues we needed to address. One was they positioned or created a app, which is a paying mechanism called SnapScan, where we were trying to attract the vendor and the consumer, encouraging them and launching SnapScan. We needed to demystify safety, simplicity, and convenience. So from a consumer perspective, it was that if your phone went missing and you downloaded the app, your PIN was safe because only you would know the PIN because it's linked to your bank card. It's convenient because you don't have to carry your purse with you, and also convenience, safe and convenient. You didn't have to carry your purse with you all the time because you had your phone. From a vendor perspective, it was safe because they didn't carry cash in their tills, and they also didn't have to run to the bank throughout the day to go and do their cash deposits. So we had to tell those type of stories, and we used this environment to tell those type of stories. Obviously, when people are watching TV, they're following people that they love. So you've got to build it around and centered around the editorial of that content. You need to be careful about editorial integrity, because a lot of the time you find the consumer switching off if you're starting to look too infomercial. So how we track this, the response, we built it over 4 weeks where we could tell the consumer journey. We could see when we started launching, doesn't have a red light, yeah, does it? Yeah, so we could see the minute we went out with our story out, there was interest shown, trying to explain SnapScan, and we could see people going onto their digital platforms to try and find out more about what SnapScan was and what we were trying to tell them. We could also see if we merged the time of broadcast with the downloads. I think we were averaging 20 downloads of the app per day, and we shot up every week to about just over 500 downloads. It said to us that people were watching it, the interest was there, and we were addressing the type of information that we wanted to address. And I think that's basically the important takeout here, is that how you package the content, and the content's not there as a reach mechanism. It's not there to drive frequency. It's there to tell a story. It's there to establish a story that you're trying to demystify in terms of your clients' business issues. Yeah? So I'm going to hand it over to you. Cool.
Very much. Yeah, I think the media agencies have become besotted with ratings and reach and frequency and the like. And we forget the fact that the only real measure that counts is sales. And if you can get closer to that, then you get closer to the holy grail of advertising. That's important. I'm going to show you a rather atypical branded content example, but I think you'll enjoy it. There we go. Unfortunately, we struggled to download it because I wasn't prepared to pay. So excuse the commercial. It's a trial copy.
There are a lot of wireless speakers on the market. So how could Beats by Dre cut through the noise to make the pill the market leader? For a speaker that's as loud as it is small, there was only one option. Get louder. Meet the Beats Pills.
Small? I'm 7.5 inches of heaven, mother. We're speakers. We supposed to be loud.
A plug-in speaker is done.
Tiny trash-talking characters with big personalities and even bigger mouths. Always telling it like it is.
Are you for real texting other girls?
Tina immediately made a friend in Nikki on American Idol.
Get out.
But their big breakthrough came at the VMAs. As soon as Miley started twerking, the Pills reacted, making a TV spot to air in the next commercial break.
Will somebody please feed Miley Cyrus? Don't you need ass to twerk?
Amidst all the noise, they were the first and the loudest to comment. Through the Pills, Beats commented on every important event in pop culture. We built a quick strike response team and generated custom rendered art in response to the biggest moments in culture. A custom-built animation system combined the Unity game engine with Xbox controllers to create animations on the fly, giving the Pills the chance to speak their minds live.
Do you have a girlfriend?
None of your business, Silverman.
The Pills instantly moved beyond traditional one-way advertising to become a part of the larger cultural conversation. In a sea of noise, they had been heard. The Pills took on traditional media too, appearing in out-of-home and online ads tailored to their specific time and place, right down to local events and live weather conditions. The Pill characters became celebrities in their own right. They even booked some commercial gigs for a few other brands. They topped the year with a happy ending alongside their boy Pharrell. And you know you've made it when they make a toy out of you. We designed real Pill speaker character stands. By the week of Thanksgiving, Beats sales were #1 in the wireless speaker category. The Pills became the must-have holiday gift of the year. The Pills, characters that defined a product, a campaign that moved at the speed of culture, and a new personality in the world of music.
I think a really powerful campaign, and it started with a big idea, and it was brought to life in branded content, and then taken into traditional media, and then all brought together again. Very powerful campaign. The third principle, unexpected yet relevant and recognizable, affords you to go viral. If you get the chemistry right, it goes viral. And that's when you really get the benefit. Any form of disruption must demand the attention of the audience and stand out from the clutter. We know this. Now, there are many ways of doing it. Shorter commercials. Most people say, oh my God, he said shorter commercials, I can't believe it. You can tell a story by putting multiple executions in the same break and tell a story. Multiple placements, as I've said, tell a story. Intrusion into areas that catch the attention, sorry, typo. Afford and encourage audience participation. And there are many examples of that. I'll show you one just now. Blur media boundaries through technology. And there's a great example I'll show you now for Nivea, a media idea. But critically, make sure the audience recognizes the advertiser and that the solution aligns with the objectives. I mean, you're all too young to remember the elephants commercial, okay? Some of you nod and remember it, and that was the ISM. When IBM pulled out of South Africa, it was taken over, or its name was changed to ISM, and you saw elephants in sand dunes. Everyone remembered the ad. They weren't sure who was behind it. Got to be recognizable. The example I'm going to show you, the example I'm going to show you is for Nivea. And when you say Nivea, you think of protection for your children and protection for your skin. And protection goes beyond just sun protection. Have a look at this. And I'll cut it short because I think you'll get the idea quite early on. Did you get it? It's very smart. Now that was the second in the series. The first one changed color as the armband absorbed more UV rays, so you could see whether your child had been in the sun for too long and whether you needed to turn them over. Principle 4, bravery. Breaking traditional rules. You need to be brave. In order to be brave, you need to be certain. And this is the hardest to accomplish well, being brave. It requires current understanding of the consumer need state and opinion. It requires a partnership between media agency, media owner, and certainly the creative agency. Absolutely. No sacred cause. You've got to work together. Any divide will unsettle the client. And no is always the least risky decision to make. You've all seen that. If you press a client to make a decision, they always default to no. You've got to position it, you've got to express it, you've got to sell the idea, which is really important. This is an iconic advertisement. And it's for Coca-Cola, Rainbow Nation. I'm sure you've all seen it. Everyone seen it? Nodding heads with the rainbow, etc. It could not have been made without the participation and the buy-in from the media owner. It just wouldn't have been possible. Let me show you a little bit of it.
"20 years ago, South Africa held its first democratic election. Nelson Mandela was elected into office. And Bishop Desmond Tutu coined the phrase the Rainbow Nation. A rainbow represented the diversity that made South Africa great. On the eve of the 20th anniversary of South Africa's democracy, we wanted to remind people what the symbol of the rainbow stood for. With a lot of testing, a bunch of fancy calculations, and a little bit of magic. So we didn't just show the symbol, we created it. A giant rainbow that appeared above our billboard. People stopped to witness the addition to the skyline. This rainbow is created by capturing the sun at a specific angle through the mist of non-drinkable recycled water. For those on the road, where there was a billboard, there were rainbows too. And because people have always wondered what's at the end of the rainbow, we also brought them down to the ground.
You look at the rainbow and you smile. That's why they call us the Rainbow Nation. We have a lot to smile about.
The rainbow reminds us of our best possible selves.
In South Africa, I'm a person because of other people. We call it Ubuntu.
Bringing people of the Rainbow Nation together to mark 20 years of democracy.
There are so many small kindnesses between South Africans.
We're not perfect, but somehow it all works.
I think this is one of the friendliest countries in the world, and I think that makes me smile every day.
And create a little moment of happiness.
Media owner, the media agency, there couldn't have been any uncertainty with that. Otherwise, the client would have defaulted to no. Great idea, great campaign. Principle 5, measurability. Why is measurability so important? I'll tell you why. Old cliche, if you can't measure it, it doesn't matter. But there's more to it than that. If you can't measure it, you don't learn. And that's the point. Learning comes from measurement. And increasingly, it has to be measurement of the result, not the cost of the ingredients. You all watch Master Chef, don't you? I'm sure you do. The person who wins isn't the person who put the cheapest meal on the table. Am I right? It's the person who put the meal that tastes the best. We're like chefs. If we don't get the chemistry right, it doesn't matter if it's cheap or expensive, it doesn't work. Success criteria must be predetermined. You can't post-rationalize. It's not believable. You need to identify the critical measurements before you start a campaign. Lessons must be learned, good, bad, with equal vigor. A lot of people celebrate their successes but don't understand them. And there's always a very in-depth analysis of failure. We need to change our mindset and start trying to understand our successes, because that's really what counts. And results must be shared. We don't share. Winners won mindset needs to be important, needs to be there. And that has to include the media owner. So in summary, I've given you 5. I'm not going to ask you if you can remember them. Tomorrow will be less like today than ever before. So disruption is not a choice. It's a current reality. So best we work closer. Really, when it matters. When would that be? When we're thinking. Not when, oh, we better show it. We've already made our decisions, but let's just share it now. We need to be there when we think. And when we're making decisions. I'm busy finishing off a book at the moment. where I talk about procurement, and it's relevant to mention it now. Procurement, some of you, I see you frown when I say procurement. Procurement is the art of spending a lot less, getting a little less, and expecting growth. It's the curse of our industry. And it's become the curse of our industry because we all talk about spend. We don't spend money. You spend money on groceries, on clothing, on consumables. You invest in advertising. You invest 10 Rand, you want to get 150 Rand back on that. And if we can start changing our terminology to invest rather than spend, procurement will spend less time looking at us, because we'll remind them it's the results that count, not the cost of the ingredients. That's all I have for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it insightful. And I hope I've reminded you the importance of working closely with all the components in the advertising process. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.